Okay, we're doing today the beginning of a series on the Chida. The Chida is Rav Chaim Yosef David Azulai, and today we're going to focus on one of his Sfarim called Shem Hagedolim. By the way, Ariel, you should know that there's a series that Rabbi Lopiansky has on biographies. You probably know this already, but I saw he also has the Chida there. Anyways, I apologize for not finalizing the dates on the different points in his life, but I just want to mention a couple things first beforehand about the Chida, and then I want to read some selections together from the Sefer. First of all, the Chida. First of all, we're moving into the Sephardi world. The Chida is from Morocco, but then he's one of the most colorful people in the world of the Achronim because he is born in Eretz Yisrael, and he comes from a Sephardi family, but his chevra is the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, the Rashash, Rav Shalom Sharabi. The main biographical point about him that is very, very significant in terms of what made him such a unique figure was the fact that he was a Shadar, a Shluch of the Rabbanan. He was the one who was sent from the community in Eretz Yisrael to represent Eretz Yisrael in the Gola and to collect funds to keep the Torah life going on in Eretz Yisrael. Again, this is the 1700s. He's a contemporary with the Baal Shem Tov. That's an example of. He's a contemporary with the Noda B'Yehuda. Now, the Yaakov Emden, that's his generation. Because he was a Shadar Shluchei Rabban, so he traveled all over the European Jewish world, also in Egypt. So that's an interesting point about him. A second interesting point about him is that he is extremely, extremely, extremely prolific in many areas of Torah. And if you go from the two things here that are extremely interesting are that he wrote a bibliographical and biographical work called Shem Hagedolim, which has two sections. One is called Hagedolim, which is biographies, and the second is called Marechet Svarim, which is bibliography. He also wrote a travelogue called Magal Tov, where he writes his experiences. And previously I had encountered this. I saw something quoted about him visiting the London Zoo, and I dug it up. But it's an extremely fascinating book, and I was starting to read it from the beginning when he writes about his travels to Italy and then to different places in France. Extremely fascinating work. But besides that, we have almost every kind of sefer that you can imagine. A sefer on the Chumash, a sefer on the Gemara, Shalos and Chuvas, Kabbalah, Drashos, you name it. He's got it, everything. So this is an extremely, extremely, extremely prolific person. Now, the pieces. This is what a normal page looks like in the Shem Hagedolim, and I want to focus on the name Azulai. Now, there's two people that are listed as Rav Avram one after the other. One, and I realize that there his ancestor, Moreno of Avram Avulai, was from Fez, and he was originally from Castilia. So he went right from that was his ancestries from Spain to Morocco, and that's where his family comes from. And afterwards, there's Hamakubal HaElokim Moreno of Avram Azulai, who is one of the rabbis of Marrakesh. Now, within that, he says something about the name Azulai, which is counter to what I heard from him. That's why I wanted to bring it. Now Shamati. Let me put on my annotator here. Shamati mipi magidi emet. Sharav Shama, in honor of the Chida. We are speaking in Sephardi today. I apologize in general. I am not consistent in my Ashkenazic or Sephardic pronunciation. I flip between both of them. It comes from the fact that in my classes I have students that are used to hearing both. And I want them to hear what they're used to hearing. So like now I have a student who's Persian and a couple Ashkenazim, and so excuse my lack of consistency. But today we're speaking in Sephardi. Shamati mipi magidei emet. I heard from people that are telling the truth, meaning those people that know what they're talking about. Sharav Shama, this Rav Avram Azulai, whose name was Azulai. Shayu omrim ki chanichat Azulai, this nickname Azulai, urashei tevot isha zona v'chalala lo yikachu. And it fits in with the letters. Now, this is a way apparently of referring to Kohanim. Aleph, Zayin, Vav, Aleph. So the Hechrim Harav al Zeh, and he made a cherem on somebody who said this. Now, why a cherem? Because a cherem is the mechanism in the halacha for chastising somebody. Essentially, it's for chastising somebody who is mavaza Talmidei Chachamim, who treats Talmidei Chachamim without the proper honor that they deserve. There are many reasons, many different situations where cherem is used, but you'll notice that the Rambam put the halachas of cherem in Hilchos Talmud Torah. And I think that's where it's coming from, because that's the main thing. So he was hechrim al zeh she'od lo yomuken, that they shouldn't say that again. Yeah, Omer yilaked b'cherem. Somebody who says that Azulai comes from Isha zona v'chalala lo yikachu, which is talking about the women that are prohibited for a Kohen to marry, a zona or a halala, and yilaked b'cherem. He's going to be trapped by the cherem, meaning he will be put in cherem. I've heard from a very elderly person who had yiras ched, who had fear of God. Shesham nimtza, he was there. And he heard the Rav say this. Now, okay, that's the name Azulai. Now I want to read the rest of this, because it gives you a sense of some of the things that you get in the fine print of the Sefer of the Chida. Now, why do I mention this? Because he has a lot of very, if you will, dry information about this one wrote this Sefer, and he wrote it first, and then he wrote this other Sefer afterwards. Meaning it's very, the book is full of very detailed information about people, when they lived, and where they lived, who their Rabbi was, who their Talmidim were, what Sfarim they wrote, when they wrote them, and different things about the Sfarim. But mixed in with this is some extremely, if you will, intriguing picanti information, so it's mixed into the same not you can't call it a book of dry biography. On the other hand, you also can't call it's not a storybook, and you'll see later on that he didn't intend it to be. But I want to read this together. That Rav, this Rav Avram Azulai, not the one, he's not speaking about his ancestor, but he's speaking about this other Rav Avram Makubal. There were a lot of miracles that happened connected with him, and his words were heard in heaven. His prayer would not go unanswered. I heard from the wonderful Rav, I think that means Chavraya Kadisha or Chacham Kadosh, I really don't know, or Chasid Kadosh, whatever you can put in whatever wonderful words for these Rashi Tevot Chet Kuf introducing the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. Moreno Rav Chaim Ibn Atar, that's the Orach Chaim HaKadosh. Shehu Hikir LaHarav Zal, he knew that Rav. Ukshaya Adam Chole, when there was a sick person, Shoel Mimenu Kamea, when he would ask for an amulet, and this was one of the things that a Makubal would do to help people out. So Lokeach Me'an take a little paper, Kotev Alav B'chtav Rashi, and Rashi let him say, Yiratzon Shetishlach Refuah LePloni Ben Ploni Mecholi Ploni. God should send a healing to such and such a person from such and such a sickness. Now, I was trying to figure out what this Aleph Samach meant, whether it's part of the Kameya or it's the beginning of the next sentence. Betulo, and no more. The only thing I thought was maybe it was his own name, meaning Avraham, but then Avraham what? I wasn't sure exactly what the Aleph Samach was. V'tulo b'li Shem, without any name of Hashem in there. V'tola zeh kameya alav, he would hang that kameya on him, that amulet. U'mitrapein, he would become healthy. Ve'in l'nyanim acharim, and also helped other things. Ve'amara Rav Moreno Rav Chaim Haniskar, and the Orach Chaim HaKadosh also said, Shehu ayalo eze kameot ktubot mi'arav kamor, and he had some kameot himself. He had some amulets from this Rav Avram Azulai. Now, the next thing is one of the most beautiful stories about two friends, Mekubalim, and it also reveals something about understanding wisdom. The chief Sephardi rabbi of Jerusalem is named Rav Shlomo Amar. His namesake is in this story. Is the friend of Rav Avram Azulai. Shamati shepam achat nechleku b'lashon hazohar hu v'arav Moreno Rav Shlomo Amar chavero. Him and his friend Rav Shlomo Amar, they were learning Zohar b'chavruta, and they had an argument about the pshat in the Zohar, or the drash in the Zohar, the sod in the Zohar, I don't know. Moreno Rav Shlomo Amar niftar shnat tov tzadichet kodem leharav. So Rav Shlomo Amar passed away first. Ve'achar, now, that doesn't stop people from communicating in the world of the Mekubalim. So, after he passed away, so he came to his friend Rav Avram Azulai in a dream. And he said the following. Now, listen to this. Shebemetifta derakia amrulo. He was in the yeshiva Shalmala. He was in the Masifta derakia, and they said shalashon hazohar shenechleku mashe perish hu Moreno Rav Shlomo ha'inyan emet b'chochmat haKabbalah. That within the system of Kabbalah, so what Rav Shlomo was mefarish was true. That's what he heard in heaven. Kavanat Rab Shimon bar Yochai haya kamo shepirish harav Moreno Rav Avram. But Rav Avram, he got to the real meaning behind what Rab Shimon bar Yochai intended. So this is exactly what we often speak about, what was the intent of the author and what were the meaning of the words. So the meaning of the words in the context of Chokhmat HaKabbalah was like Rav Shlomo Amar said. But they told him, but in terms of what Rav Shimon Bar Yochai originally intended, what he intended, that's what Rav Avram said. So there was a machlok. That machloket was parallel to two different ways. That was such a okay. So that's one example. Here's another one. Rav Chaim Vital. Now these are the pages. That's the first page on Rav Chaim Vital. Now here I want to. He writes about Rav Chaim Vital, and one of the things that he feels an obligation to do is to clarify all the different versions and texts of what the Arizal really said. So the idea is that Rav Chaim Vital was the one who was given the text, the mandate to write down the teachings of the Ari, but and the Ari didn't want anybody else writing them. But the other Talmidim, they so longed after secret wisdom that they also wrote down. And then there were these pamphlets that were circulating amongst the Talmidim, and that's where a lot of mistakes came about. Okay, but I wanted to bring just one episode that comes up here, and it's part of a theme that you'll see sometimes. Moreno Rav Yosef, first of all, he says, Moreno Rav Yosef, Avi Moreno Rav Chaim Vital, Haya Nitzotz Ezra HaSofer. The Rav Chaim Vital's father was a sofer. And so he said he was a spark of Ezra HaSofer. U'makom acher, Matzati Katuv, and another place I found Shoresh Rabbi Meir v'Nefesh Rabbi Yeshiva HaSofer. Those were where his soul was coming from. Now, V'yan katavti le'el da'ayidei ma'aseh halach le'damesek, Rabim shalu ali v'haita haptzira. In other words, I wrote, by the way, these I'm convinced when I checked the first edition of the Shem Hagedolim, which was printed in Livorno. That's that first this one, 1774. So that edition does not have this fine print. So when he writes this, he's writing that in his Shem Hagedolim, people came to him and they said, you said that Rav Chaim Vital went to Damascus al yedei maaseh. There was a certain episode that caused him to go to Damascus. So they were pushing him, tell us what the case was, tell us what it was. Echtov al sefer maaseh zeh, I will write in the book this anecdote. Av she'ein retzoni lichtov maasiyot. I don't want to write stories, meaning he doesn't want to write a storybook. He's writing a serious biographical and bibliographical work, but I don't want to write stories. But mikol makom laftzaratam amarti agale ma shekibalti rabbanei ziknei ir hakodesh Yerushalayim. But I said, because they're pushing me, so I'll tell you what the elders of Jerusalem told me. Now let me just see what comment came up just now. No, I don't see anything. Okay. No. Now, he writes as follows. Yadua dechizkiyahu melech alav shalom mipnei Sancherev satamet megichon. Sancherev came, the king of Assyria, so he came to attack Jerusalem after being successful with the upper kingdoms. Upper kingdom in Yerushalayim, the 10 tribes. But when he came to Yerushalayim, so we know that there was an extremely miraculous victory, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved Jerusalem and Sancherev's army fled. However, it was not a simple thing. And Chizkiyahu the king was afraid. And one of the things that he did was to close off the Gihon waters, which were the waters that were feeding Jerusalem. So now, Vad Hayom, even today, Yom HaShishi B'chatzot, Sheniskarim Pitchei Sharei Yerushalayim, on Friday half day, when they closed the gates of Jerusalem, Ki Kol Ishmaelim Hochim Be'avonotenu Harabim LeBeit HaMikdash. So all the Muslims go to Hashem Yirachem, but they go to the Temple Mount. Nishara ha'ir kimat rekanit. So the city's almost empty. Valkin sogrim hasharim, they close the gates. Ve'olech sham etzel shar echad. But then if you go there, I guess because it's very, very quiet then, if you go to one of the gates, asher usamach lemigdal, which is right near a tower, shomeh kol ma'im rabim shochim mitach ha'aretz, you hear the water going underneath the ground. Uvizman sham Rav Moreno Rav Chaim Vital haya be'ir HaKodesh Yerushalayim, when he was in Jerusalem, Rav Chaim Vital, Ba Sar Echad Takif, there was one very powerful minister, Hanikra Abu Sifin. His name, he was Arab, and his name was Abu Sifin. V'yadash Shemel Chisrael Satan Megichon. And he knew that there was such a thing, that the king of Israel had again, you can open it up in the Tanakh and see it, had stopped up the Gichon waters. V'shalim nimtza hayom mi sheyochal lefatcho. And he asked, "Is there anybody now who knows how to open this up? Because this would mean a water source for Jerusalem. It would be revolutionary." So the Gentiles said, "Yesh chacham shu eloki." There is this godly man, person who is connected to God. Ushmo Rabbi Chaim Vital. That's his name. Badai shu yachol lefatcho. He can certainly open it up. V'shalach acharav yom hashishi. And one Friday he sent for him. And he said to him, Gozreni alecha shebaod sheholech hu leveit hamikdash patoach tiftach et hanahar hazeh shesatam melech shelachem. So while I'm going to the Beis Hamikdash, meaning while I'm going to the Temple Mount, we were going to the mosque there. So while I'm there, I want you to open up the river that your king closed up. It's very important for the city. It's up to you to open it up. If not, your blood is on your head. In other words, he's got to perform in more or less open miracle, which is to open up the Gihon waters that have been closed since the times of Chizkiyahu HaMelech. Now, what did Rav Chaim Vital do? Rav Chaim Vital, the sakvitza taderech ve'alach leDamesek. So he did a kvitza saderech. He did a mystical traveling, and he went to Damascus. Uba lav Rabbeinu Arizal Tzal uv'chalom yedaber bo. So the Arizal came to him in a dream. This was after the Arizal passed away. Hiskalta, so you did improperly. Ki zeh hasaraya Gilgul Sancheriv. This minister was a reincarnation of King Sancheriv of Assyria. V'cheinikra Abu Sifin. That's why his name is Abu Sifin. Sayaf is a sword. Sheba Arabi Perusho Avia Charavot. The father, the master of all the swords, like Sancheriv. Ve'ata yesh b'cha nitzot Chizkiyahu HaMelech, and you have a spark of King Chizkiyahu's soul. V'ayta shata kosher letaken v'liftoach mei Gihon, and the time had come. This was a propitious time to fix this mistake that the king Sancheriv made, and to open up the Gihon waters. Ki shelo b'rtzon chachamim asach Chizkiyahu HaMelech alav hashalom. What Chizkiyahu did was against the chachamim of his time. Shehu mi'advarim shelo hodu. They didn't. The chachamim later on in the Mishnah, so they write that what Chizkiyahu did was improper, and they didn't agree to what he did. Ubazeh hayta al chalta de Geula. This would have been the beginning of the Geula process. He said, I didn't want to use the holy names. And so the Ari said to him, had you not used the divine name to come to Damascus, so I would have been quiet. When you did use the divine name, you could have opened up the waters. V'aya Kiddush Hashem v'tikun gadol. It would have been a great Kiddush Hashem. It would have been a great mending and fixing, reparations. Okay, great. I'm ready to go to Jerusalem. So the time is over, and it's not the time for that. This was a missed opportunity. So there was a certain. So first of all, you get a picture of how these people lived on a different plane. Number one. And you get a flavor of the kinds of the way the world in the world of the Mekubalim, the way things happen. Number two, you also had there's a certain tragedy of the what ifs of history that sometimes are revealed. Now, there's two more things I wanted to share with you today. One of them is a long essay that he has, and I'll just mention a couple of points in this essay. In the section of the bibliography, so there's a certain book called Sefer Zichronot, and the book Sefer Zichronot was written, was published, anonymously. However, we know who the author is. His name was Rav Shmuel Abuav. And it's clear, though, from a number of other Sfarim, that he's the author. It's like there were people who knew that the Chofetz Chaim wrote the Sefer Chofetz Chaim. I assume, but he originally published it anonymously. There's somebody who wrote a set of Sfarim called Bilvavi Mishkan Evne. They were originally published anonymously, but we know who it is. Somebody named Itamar Shvartz, if I'm not mistaken. And we know who the person is. So you can have such a thing. And he wrote another Sefer, which was not published anonymously. However, he wrote, the Chida takes this opportunity to write a long essay on the topic of publishing things anonymously. And he quotes, sorry, this didn't come out so nice. He quotes the Pani Meiros. Pani Meiros is a Shalom Tshuva Sefer. So he wrote in his introduction that he has a doubt if it's good for a person to write and publish a Sefer without quoting his name. Or Dilma Chiyuva Ramya ala Machaber Laskir Shu Chibro Asher Yisad Shmo. Or maybe, on the one hand, maybe it's better to print it, to publish something anonymously. On the other hand, maybe it's obligatory, it's incumbent upon the writer to mention who wrote it, and it should have his name. So there's a certain thing that is good for the neshama. It says that when they quote a teaching of a Talmud Chacham in the world, so his lips, so to speak from the grave. Meaning when his words are being read in the Sefer, so it's like he's speaking in this. It doesn't mean that the person that is reading it is going to mention who it is. Even if it will not be, his name won't be written, but still, if they'll quote him, so then they'll know who wrote it. So those are the two sides. Is it better to have it anonymous or better to have it publicized? But for this reason of Sifto Tav Dovavot Bakever. Now, you see it's an extremely long essay. But I want to share a couple points that come up in the essay. Number one, there's many of Chazal's teachings that are presented anonymously. And so it seems like this is not an uncommon thing. It sounds like they were worried about the fact that, so that seems to be like a proof that you don't need to publish things with your name on it. The only thing is that if you're writing a halacha sefer, so you want it to be accepted. So people have to know who the author is, because if you don't know who the author is, so the authority behind the halachic source is not there. So you have to know that Rav Moshe Feinstein wrote the Shilas and Chuvas Rav Moshe Igros Moshe, and you have to know that the Minchas Yitzchak was written by the Minchas Yitzchak, and the Noda B'Yehuda by the Noda B'Yehuda. It's by Rabbi Cheskel. You have to know who the authors of these Sfarim are, because if it's a halacha sefer, so its authority comes from the weight of the person that wrote it. So that's one thing. And he writes that the Sefer Hasidim relates to this. The Sefer Hasidim wrote that the Hasidim, the earlier Chachamim, didn't write their names. And for instance, Toras Kohanim and Mechilta and Brisos and Midrashim and Agadas and Tikkunei Olam, Masechet Sofrim, those compilations, we don't know who put them together. We don't know the word. And they didn't write Ani Ploni Bar Ploni Katavti V'chibarti Et HaSefer. Why? Kedei shelo yehaneh mi'olam hazeh. So they shouldn't benefit from this world, meaning they wanted to have no honor from the words of Torah, and they wanted to get all their honor in the next world. He has a back and forth about a certain Zohar. But he mentioned something, and I just want to mention 2 or 3 more points here. Number one, he says nowadays all of the authors write their names, and there's nobody that writes things anonymously nowadays. And then he writes the following: Kimat mi sherotzeh linhog kach bedor yatom yeh ramot rucha. If somebody wants to do this nowadays, it would be considered, it's right around this, what I'm reading is right around here. Oh, sorry, I didn't read that. How about your uncle? Wow. So what I'm writing is right about here. Somebody wants to do this in these generations, it would be remote rucha. It would be considered presumptuous. Ki moreshe kvar hu shalem, v'ratza lekayem gam ze adiktuk. It implies that he's like doing everything right, and he wants to even go further and have this extra thing that is a pious custom of the ancient Chachamim. The only thing that is missing is not to be known in this generation. Even though he might have good intentions, so it would be considered a negative reflection on those that were great Gaonim and Gedolim who did publish their Sfarim with their own name. And now, and he said, look, even this Rav Shmuel Abuav, so when it came to his Shilas and Chuvas, they published it with his name. No, so why did he leave it out? Why did he publish this anonymously? So he answers, he says, the reason is as follows. Because it's a book of Musar, so he didn't want to mention his name because he's giving tochacha, because he's giving rebuke. וטעמים אחרים, אבל תשובתיו לא עלה על ליבו. Okay, so that I think was an interesting, first of all, interesting essay. And he writes more about this, about how the tzaddik affect in this world. But that's that's the issue of publishing anonymously. Now, I want to end with a beautiful document. This is in the biography of the Chida that was added later on to the Sefer. Again, my Sefer of the Shem Hagedolim is a republished Shem Hagedolim with some additions. And one of the additions is a biography of the Chida, including a long list of all the different books that he wrote, which is, I mean, here the list is 83 Sforim. Again, there might be some of them where it's two different editions of the same one, but I mean, it's wild. Everything under the sun. Remazim ala Torah and a Pirish on Tehillim and on the Tefillas and more by another Sefer on biography, Musar, Drush, and of course his Shilas and Chuvas, and you name it. Anyways, so now he was part of a group, a unique group of Talmidei Chachamim in Yerushalayim, and this document was something which, as far as I understand, was not published, was not made known. And you see who signed on it: Rav Shalom Sharabi, Yom Tov Al-Ghazi, the Chida himself, and then others. Now, I just want to read from the beginning. Birtzot Hashem Tshuvat Hashavim. Because Hashem wants people to repent. Ruach lavsha otanu, a spirit encompassed us. Anachnu tzirei atzon achatum mimata. That's a poetic way of saying a humble way of saying the young ones of the sheep that are listed, that are signed below. Liotenu ki ish echad chaverim. We wanted to become like one person, friends. Ve'akol l'shem yichud kodesh brichu u'shchinte, in order to unite kodesh brichu and Shechina. Lasot nachat ruach le'otzreinu, to do something pleasing to our Creator. Val davar zeh nichrad brit benotenu. We made a covenant amongst us. Al pi atanaim halalu shririm v'kayim, through the following conditions. Rishon hu shekulanu achatum mimata shnei masar ish kemispar shiftei ka. We are 12 people, like the same number of the 12 tribes. Niya kulanu ohavim zeh lezeh. We will love each other. Ahava rabba, avat nefesh ve'avat haguf. We will help each other practically, avat haguf, and inwardly, avat nefesh ve'akol asot nachat ruach liotzreinu b'devika derucha chada. In order to make nachas ruach for our Creator, by clinging together. Ach, b'chalakut le'inyan bilvad. And we will be there are certain things where we're individuals, but our souls will be clinging together. We will all be like one person. Rabba tiferet ve'kol echad yaleh al chavero ki'ilu chelik mimenu mamash b'chol nefesh v'chol meodo. Everybody's going to treat the other one like he's really himself. If one of them has some pain or something distressing them, we'll all help him. Everybody individually, or all of us together in whatever way we can. The main thing is to give each other tochacha if he heard that he did anything that was like a chay. ובכלל דבר נתחייבנו אנחנו החתום ממטה לקשר אהבתנו בתכלית הקשר האמיץ, ומקבלים עלינו מעכשיו ולאורך ימים שונים בעולם הבא, יטרח כל אחד ממנו, הן בדנו בעולם הזה והן בעולם הבא, להציל ולתקן ולהעלות את נפש אחד מחברתנו בכל מה שיכול, ובכל מיני טרחה כל אחד בעולם הבא. And we're going to help each other out in this world and in the next to elevate our souls. Now, I'll skip a little bit. We'll help each other through tochacha and doing tshuva and feeling the other's pain and distress. And whatever they took on themselves, that whatever minhag tov, whatever good practice, the majority of them decide they're going to do it. We also said that none of us is going to treat any of the others as greater than any of the others. We are all going to treat each other totally as equals, and nobody's going to get up for each other, stand up for each other totally, but rather we will all do an equal hidur. We will all, like, people slightly raise up in their seats to show deference to somebody, as opposed to totally standing up totally out of honor. We also are not going to reveal this. Now, again, this document, it says at the very, very bottom that this document was found in the storage of, there was a certain Rav Rafal Abulafia by his son, Rav Chaim Yitzchak Abulafia. So they found this document, but they did not apparently reveal it while they were alive. And then Beseder Hineni Noten Lo Et Briti Shalom. That's in the beginning of Parshas Pinchas. Hashem Yivarech Adamo V'Shalom V'Akol Bar Sharir V'Kayam Hinei Emet Nachon Adavar V'Kayam. And then the list of people: Shalom Mizrahi Diadua Sharabi, Yom Tov Al-Gazi, Shmuel Al-Chadif, Avram Be'alil, Miyuchas Ben Kvod Rav Yosef, Aaron Halevi, Zair Chaim Yosef David Azulai, Shlomo Ben Le'avi Adoni David Ferrandos, Duas, Yaakov Biton, Matzamano, Eliezer Chaim Diparchi, Rosa, and then others added. They added Rafael Moshe Galiko, Avram Yishmael Chaim Sangotki, Avram Ibn Asher, and they added Yaakov Al-Ghazi. Now, one thing I don't know, Samach Tet, what is that ending? So I had heard it meant Sfardi Tahor, but it doesn't work here. Because as far as I know, Shalom Mizrahi Diadur Sharabi is not a Sfaradi. I don't know exactly what Samach Tet means, and I'm interested in what it is. What's the real meaning behind that abbreviation? I don't have a good answer. Anyways, I thought this was one of the most beautiful documents of real connectedness, and you can understand why these people were such amazing Talmidei Chachamim. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share today from the Chida. Now, why now? There are those, I had heard, there's a Gentile holiday in the end of December. And there are those who have a minhag, refer to it as Nittelnacht. And the sources might likely be that it was dangerous for Jews on that night, December 25th, and there's some other different dates that people had for that night, and the simple thing was the Jews had a self-imposed blackout to make sure that they wouldn't be hurt by people who were in some kind of an anti-Semitic frenzy. By the way, a four shlema for the 4 people that were that were stabbed in Muncie. And but then all sorts of minhagim developed around this thing called Mittelnacht, and one of the minhagim is not to learn, like not to sit down and learn Torah on that night, which is a very unique, offbeat kind of a minhag. But I read, and I don't remember the names of it, but I read that there were those who read the Sefer Shem Hagedolim on Mittelnacht, because that was a way where you could, on the one hand, not be mevatel Torah, or do something that was a productive non-Torah learning. So that was one of the things I was thinking about when I chose to do this. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you.